I will quickly introduce Keith, but then do a couple of introductions, ask some introductory questions, and then I will call on you in a round robin to ask individual questions from each of your stations. All right, Keith, are you ready?
Yeah, did you just want me to give like a little opening statement?
Sure. Yes. Can you
Yeah,
introduce yourself first, please?
yeah, sure. So my name's Keith Coper, and I'm a professor of geophysics at the U,
Recording in
and I'm also
progress.
director of the Earthquake Observatory for the state. And our name is University of Utah Seismograph Stations. So it's kind of a funny name, but that's what the name is for our observatory. And, we have the mission of sort of running the seismic network, and we monitor earthquakes throughout the entire state. The earthquake that happened this morning, and I think it happened about 10 minutes before 8. Maybe the most important thing to say is that it was a moderate size earthquake. So the magnitude for the earthquake is 4.7. And it's not considered a big earthquake at all. Although I realize it was widely felt along the Wasatch Front. And I think we're up to maybe thousands, at least hundreds of reports of people that felt shaking. And the good news is we don't have any reports of injuries or damage or anything like that. So it's going to be more of hopefully we'll learn something about the science, and we won't have to worry about, responding to damage and uh, things of that nature. So for us as scientists, it's a nice earthquake because it'll be interesting scientifically and but at the same time not causing a lot of damage. So as I said, it was a magnitude 4.7. It was located, the epicenter for the earthquake was kind of in a funny spot. It was further east of where we normally have most of the earthquakes. So it was due south of Evanston in Wyoming. And so even though it was, separate or a little bit east of where most of the folks live, it was still widely felt because it was a moderate size, and so the energy was able to make its way um, to where we all live, or where a lot of us live. Uh, let's see. So we have had 6 aftershocks, and aftershocks are smaller earthquakes, and they just follow the what we call the main shock, the 4.7. And it's very common to have sometimes dozens, sometimes hundreds of, sometimes even thousands of aftershocks. Those of you that remember about 6 years ago, we had a magnitude 5.7 earthquake that was in Magna, in sort of near the west part of Salt Lake City, and we and we had aftershocks from that earthquake for several years, and that one did cause a little bit more damage than the one that happened this morning. So those some of you might be wondering, oh, are there bigger earthquakes that we expect? And the short answer is no. There's a very small chance that there's a bigger earthquake that could happen. Let me say it this way: the probability, of a bigger earthquake is somewhere like 1 or 2%, maybe for the next few days. And so there is actually what we call an earthquake forecast, and that's available from the web page. And so if you go to our web page and you click on the earthquake, you can go to the web page of our partner, and our partner is called the U.S. Geological Survey, and that's where they will have the earthquake forecast. And I don't know, maybe I could share my screen. Is that something that people would be interested in if I did a screen share to show you some of the products and the information, or is that too tricky to do. I don't know, Heather, what do you think?
Yeah, why don't we kind of try that at the end if that's
Okay,
okay,
at the
just to
end,
make
right
sure
on.
everyone gets their questions answered. I just want to
Sure,
lead us off with one question.
sure.
As the director of the University of Utah seismograph stations, what's going to happen in the coming days? What will your
Oh yeah.
team be doing?
Oh yeah, so it's already going on. We started this morning, and so one thing we're going to do is we put out some temporary seismometers, and the seismometers just it records ground motion, and so we're rounding up extra seismometers right now, and one of our engineers will then make his way probably to Evanston, and then figure out if we can get further south, and we want to put one of these very sensitive seismometers as close as we can to the epicentral area. And what that's going to do is give us very good sort of detection for all these little tiny aftershocks that we expect to happen in the coming weeks. And I guess one thing maybe that people are most interested in is it is possible you could feel more shaking later today, right? So it's a magnitude 4.7 earthquake, and it's possible that there could be a magnitude 4 aftershock or 3.9 or 3.8, something like that. And that might be big enough to cause, the seismic energy would travel uh, from the east and then cause shaking here in the valley or along the Wasatch. So it is possible people could feel more shaking later today, but it would be less than the shaking of what people felt this morning. And unfortunately, at my house, I live in Sugar House, and I didn't feel anything. I was I was actually on a different Zoom call, and I was just paying attention to that. And so for me, I didn't really get strong shaking here. But and then sorry, Heather, for the long answer, but I'll just say that, for us, the science of this is super important. We're trying to figure out precisely how deep the earthquake was. And so in the next few days, uh, we're all excited as scientists. And this again, I think I said earlier, this is a great earthquake for us because very little damage, probably maybe no damage. And injuries. And so therefore we can sort of be more excited about learning, about future hazard and learning about the faults and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Hey,
Wonderful.
Keith, I just wanted to step in. Keith, this is Brian Mathley.
Hey,
I was
Brian.
wondering,
Yeah.
yeah, I was wondering if you could kind of precisely locate the epicenter for our reporters. It
Yeah.
looks to me like it's around the Mirror Lake Highway, kind of near the Utah border. Am I close?
Yeah. No, for sure. That's right. So I would say it's about, I'm just looking at the map right now. It looks like it's about 6 miles south of the border between Utah and Wyoming. And it looks
Okay,
like, I guess,
so that's Utah. It's in Utah.
150, Route 150. It's about just a couple miles west of Route 150.
Okay, in
Great.
Utah. If what you
Oh yeah, for
described, it
sure.
sounds like,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's
great.
one of ours. Yeah, it's a Utah earthquake.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you, Keith, so much. All right, we're just going to start round robin of questions.
Oh no, I just lost the sound.
Oh,
Can
I'm.
Oh,
Can
okay,
you hear
there.
me,
Okay.
Keith?
Yeah, okay,
Where's
right. It's
Heather?
back. Okay. Yeah.
Well, it looks like we lost Heather. Are you still on, Heather? Here, I'll turn my
Oh
thing on.
no.
I think we may have dropped Heather. Hi, this is
Yeah.
Brian Mapley. I'm a science writer for the university. I think Heather wanted to kind of allow the reporters just to
Sure.
pose questions to Keith. Anyone want to start off? Oh,
We have someone from Fox 13. All right. How about Brock from KSL?
Hi, sorry. This is Brock Marchant with the Salt Lake Tribune, if I can just ask a question.
Hey, Brock.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for hosting this. Really appreciate it and really informative. One thing that I'm wondering, we've seen people on the Geological Survey website report that they felt minor shakes anywhere from like up in Richmond to down in Provo. And anywhere between where the quake happened in Great Salt Lake. I'm wondering if homeowners or property owners need to do anything to protect, their property or their homes in that area with upcoming aftershocks or the potential of a bigger quake, or, if things are likely small enough that it's not really a concern.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. And just to emphasize, the earthquake was felt all the way, from Provo in the south to the north of Logan, right? So it has been felt all along sort of the urban corridor here. And the short answer is no, we don't expect any imminent stronger shaking that a homeowner would need to prepare for. Now, everybody should be prepared in general as homeowners in Utah that, we live in earthquake country. And so there are general things that people should do. For instance, having your water heater strapped in, or bolted in. Uh, you don't want things like big mirrors or heavy things right over your bed. We have a whole list of these sort of preparations that people can take. So so for sure the general preparations, but I think Brock, you're asking about like right now, what do people need to do? And there's again, the chance of a bigger earthquake is relatively small. It's about a few percent right now, and that probability goes down relatively quickly over the next few days. And so that would be my answer.
Thanks, Keith. John Brinkerhoff, you have a question. There are different types of earthquakes. Do you know yet what type of quake this was? And you can jump in if you'd like to ask a further detailed question, Don.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
that's
know that
right.
my mic works, so
Oh yeah, I just heard you, I think.
okay,
Um,
perfect.
but yeah, no, this so the different kinds of earthquakes is different style of faulting, and this one is kind of interesting. It looks like what we call a strike slip earthquake. And what that means is, you have two sides of the fault. And so instead of one side moving up or another side moving down, the two sides moved sideways, like that, right? And we just finished the modeling for that, but some of our colleagues have a similar result. So we feel pretty good that it was a strike slip. And it was it was relatively, well, it wasn't unusually deep, but it was about, I think, 13 kilometers beneath sea level. So maybe, I don't know, 15 kilometers beneath the Earth's surface. So something like 10 miles or so. So it was not a shallow earthquake. It was a little bit deeper. But again, it's in a really unusual place. It's further east of our main hazard along the Wasatch. And so for us, it's sort of like a puzzle. Why exactly did this earthquake happen? Where it did? And what can we learn about the faults in this area that we don't know as much about, as we know about the faults closer to Salt Lake.
With this type of quake, does it tend to travel further, or is it kind of more localized?
The shaking would be similar, I would say, even if it was what we call a normal faulting earthquake or what we call a thrust or reverse faulting. So the one thing that's interesting though is that the rocks in this area are sort of older and colder and stronger than the rocks when you get closer to the Wasatch, and certainly when you cross to the west across the Wasatch. And so because the rocks near where this earthquake happened are very strong. They are very good at transmitting the energy, right? So instead of the rocks absorbing some of the energy, the energy just goes through and is transmitted efficiently. And that means that we're going to get a relatively big area of felt area. So sort of to your question, there probably are more people that are able to feel shaking from this earthquake than if this earthquake had happened, let's say, to the west of, out in the desert or on, the other side of the Wasatch.
Thanks, Keith. MJ with ABC4 or anyone with ABC4. All right. Do we have anyone from Fox 13 that would like to ask a question? All right. Brock, would you like to ask any other questions?
I remember after the Magna earthquake, there was a much more enthusiasm from the media. In 2020, I remember we had one of these online sort of press meetings or whatever. And so I think it's probably just that this one is less impactful.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little bit smaller or something. But I don't know, Heather,
Don,
how
do
you're.
you have any other
Oh,
questions?
I'm good. Do you, Keith, you want to finish what you were saying there?
oh yeah. No, I was just gonna say, but this is, I was just gonna, say this is a significant earthquake. This is, we get this type of earthquake, this size maybe once every 5 years.